It's, yeah, I got you.
All right. This special meeting of the Mishawaka Common Council will please come to order. This evening, we have the privilege of receiving Mayor Wood's State of the City address, but before we move into that, welcome to everyone who's here with us this evening. If you would, please take a minute to check your cell phone to make sure that you have it on vibrate or silent. And we are also providing live stream capability for this evening's meeting. So good evening to those of you who are participating remotely as well. Members of the public are asked to place their microphone on mute, and we're going to ask, please, that you keep your microphone muted throughout the entire meeting. And we appreciate everybody's cooperation, whether you are here in person or participating remotely. With that, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Hazen?
Here.
Mr. Belovich?
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Beninky?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Mrs. DeMade?
Here.
Mr. Compton?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Here. Thank you. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, tonight is the annual State of the City address by the mayor. So without further ado, Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Mr. President, council members, friends, family, neighbors, welcome to my State of the City presentation. Thank you for giving up your evening to spend some quality time, just a few hours, discussing our beloved hometown. I hope you will find that the time is very well spent. This marks the 122nd time that a mayor has addressed the council in the history of Mishawaka, and statutorily it is required. And it could be the shortest of my tenure, but I wouldn't bet on it. First, I'd like to thank our staff for the great work in helping me put together this State of the City report, specifically Tim, Brent, Matt, Ken, and all of our department managers. This is the official State of the City booklet right here, and it is available now on mishawaka.in.gov. So what is the state of our city? Overall, it hasn't changed for decades, and I don't get tired of repeating it. Mishawaka is growing, and we are fundamentally strong, safe, financially stable, and we are growing. We continue to strive to be the most livable city in northern Indiana, focused on growing Mishawaka in an orderly fashion and having each and every resident and every neighborhood sharing in our prosperity. And we are growing. And I'm pleased to report that for another year, Mishawaka continues to build a community that our future generations can be proud of. One that is not only an attractive place in which to live, to work, to raise a family, but also to retire, visit, shop, seek health care, and do business. Those fundamentals don't change. But what is the current state of our city? Great question. For the next 4 hours, we will discuss exactly that. But seriously, the years of vision, progress, sacrifice, and even some pain are paying off. It feels as though we are on a new trajectory now. We are growing at a more rapid pace. There is a new energy and excitement about Mishawaka. It feels like we are becoming a bigger city with big city options and amenities, to be sure. Yet we will strive to maintain the hometown, small town values and hard work ethic that our city was founded upon, that are the bedrock of our community. As our city grows, our government is growing to keep pace. A top priority throughout my tenure has been to upgrade Mishawaka's government facilities to maximize efficiency and service potential to our citizens. We've made great progress over the years in that regard. From a planning and construction perspective, our biggest project is done, and you are in it. After years of planning, construction, coordinating, and moving, the new City Hall building is fully functional. I'm happy to report that it has been very well received, and it will serve the city of Mishawaka well for decades to come. This is just a quick look back of our new City Hall from design through completion. Every year I choose a theme for our State of the City. For this year, there could only be one. Feels good to be home. Of course, no project signifies this better than our move into our new civic home, but it applies to so much more and is the essence of why we love the Princess City and take such pride in her. We'll explore just a little of that this evening as we begin our first State of the City in our new City Hall. After major renovations, the former Liberty Mutual Insurance Building has become the new home to Mishawaka City Hall, Mishawaka Police Department, and Mishawaka Utilities Business Office. The move has taken Mishawaka's central hub for local government from the outskirts of the downtown to smack dab in the middle of all the action, right where we belong. This has put many of our services into one building, centrally located, which makes it more convenient for our citizens to access our services, and it allows us to most effectively and efficiently offer our city services. The police station provides us with major new capabilities such as a crime lab, new evidence processing standards, and a command center full of technology where we can run scenes or natural disaster events from a secure location with redundant power feeds. This building was designed to be forward-looking, able to meet the department's expanding needs for decades to come and foster additional redevelopment interests downtown. But what I love best is the immediate impact that it has had. From a staff perspective, not only has our new home improved morale, collaboration, and interaction that simply was not possible before the move, but it has helped us to attract and hire new talent. Our other government agencies are using our facilities for the first time, bringing their important services even closer to our citizens. We have already seen a sharp increase in public meeting requests and usage of our conference rooms for public meetings. Our public has embraced the facility as well. On any given day, you will see far more traffic in this building than any of our old facilities. It is a bright, friendly, inviting place to conduct a neighborhood watch meeting or simply spend some time browsing our historic displays. Coming to our coming events or future projects displays, or even if you have no business at all walking through. I particularly love that kids are embracing the building. For youth council meetings, a friendly game of ping pong, and we've even had some kids come in and do homework right here at City Hall. And in fact, just 2 nights ago, come 9:30, I had to kick out a bunch of kids who just kind of wanted to stay and hang around. This is not your ordinary government building. This is much more than that. This has truly become a home. Inside every good home is a family. I consider you part of mine. All of us, Mishawaka Common Council, City Clerk, and me as Mayor, work together for the common good of our hometown. When we as public servants do our jobs collaboratively and in the best interests of our citizens of Mishawaka, we make a real impact on our residents throughout our Mishawaka community. As true public servants, we are motivated to make positive impact for those in the Princess City. Beyond your legislative duties, City Clerk and Common Council are vitally important to the business of the city and routinely are the point of contact for our citizens, serving as both advocates and sources of knowledge. I personally want to thank you as a Mishawaka citizen and as your co-worker for your dedication in making our hometown feel like home. I'm proud to serve with you. It feels good to be home in a Mishawaka community where we in local government work exceptionally well together towards the common goal of having safe, resilient, and growing Mishawaka. Do we disagree from time to time? Yes. But even then, by and large, we do it with civility and an underlying sense of respect for each other. In these past 3.5 years, well over 90% of the votes you have taken were unanimous. Further, there has been only one party line vote on a major issue or a minor issue. Every family has their secret recipe, and that's ours. City over party, public service over politics. That's what sets us apart and is a significant contributing factor to our growth and success. A single example of our cooperative spirit can be found in our handling of the American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds of 2021, which bestowed funds on cities and towns all over the country. Mishawaka was awarded $11.8 million based on a formula that includes a variety of factors such as population, economic needs, based on poverty rates. In comparison, St. Joe County received close to $53 million, and South Bend received $59 million. While other communities argued on how best to disperse funds, the Common Council, working collaboratively with my administration to find the best uses for these funds. And in 2022, the Common Council held public meetings to solicit community input. Many ideas were reviewed, including critical infrastructure, travel and tourism, job training, mental health, homelessness, partnerships with charities, and revenue replacement. The Common Council awarded funds to various nonprofit entities and organizations as well. Building the best hometown includes providing a social safety net to those most vulnerable in our community. To that end, a total of $1.8 million was awarded to organizations such as United Way, Boys and Girls Club, Youth Services Bureau, Mishawaka Trooptown, Mishawaka Building Trades, Mishawaka Penn Harris Public Library, and the Res. These funds and the projects that they make possible will impact our community in a positive way for decades to come, making sure that it feels like home for all of our residents. We also gave well-deserved premium pay to our staff and allocated $5.5 million for critical infrastructure, helping us to complete projects that are federally mandated without any funds attached from the federal government, while keeping utility bills low for every single ratepayer in Mishawaka. In the best interest of the citizens of Mishawaka, we work best when we work together as a team. Our city clerk and her office are an important part of that successful team. During 2022, Clerk Block's office and the Mishawaka Common Council handled the legislative business of the city, which included 36 resolutions, 50 ordinances, annexations, vacations, and not the resting kind, among countless hours of other commitments such as labor negotiations, neighborhood meetings, community events, and so much more. Our clerk maintains the official records such as the Common Council agendas, minutes, ordinances, resolutions, and serves as the keeper of the city seal, which she also helped to make sure that our new one was compliant with city ordinance. She and her staff maintain municipal code and oversee the Ordinance Violations Bureau. In addition, the city clerk certifies city documents, officiates weddings, and assists with voter registration. All this is done in a professional manner with a hometown touch. Clerk Block and her staff have our deep appreciation. Hometown, small town values are important to us, and we always strive to protect them. We adapt to changing times while upholding our unchanging values. That is the tone we try to set right in my office with friendly, hometown, accessible approach to service. I'd like to thank my assistant, Debbie Gregg, and my intern, Notre Dame sophomore and political science major, Lizette Mendez Ramirez, for their professional, dedicated service, and especially for their unwavering support. Lizette and her parents are here with us tonight. They are visiting from Monterey, California, where they are from. Lizette has also previous experience working in local government for the City of Monterey Parks Department. And she has done an outstanding job and is a joy to have in our office. She has contributed and learned so much about Mishawaka that I am making her an honorary resident. Next week is her last week here in office, and we will miss her greatly. Thank you very much, Lizette. Under our leadership, as well as citizen involvement and support, Mishawaka has continued to become community-centered, where families stay to grow and businesses come to thrive. Small town values, partnered with our flourishing city, provide big opportunities. Over the last several years, population growth and business expansion have created record-breaking new construction throughout the city of Mishawaka. The Princess City continues to live up to our reputation as the best hometown in America. But times are changing. The way people are living and working is changing. Over the past few decades, there has been an ongoing shift on how people determine where they live. It used to be that you found a job and then you would go look for a place to live. This dynamic is evolving. With remote work, there is an increasing percentage of people who can choose to live anywhere. Those that have options, including many recent college graduates, have a lot of flexibility on where they live, and they are looking for specific amenities. These amenities include active lifestyle choices, educational opportunities, restaurants, nightlife, shopping, convenient, high-quality medical services, parks and open spaces, residential living with hotel-like features, and an overall safe place where they can see themselves long-term. Mishawaka is ideally suited to compete in this arena. In Mishawaka, when we say it feels good to be home, it means we continue to do a great job relative to checking off these boxes. We intend to change with the times while holding our unchanging fundamentals. Since I have been mayor, there have been many changing trends. There is, however, one piece of data that I have always believed is the most important to cities. That is population. I believe that it is the single biggest indicator about whether a community is growing, succeeding, thriving, struggling, or dying. According to the U.S. 2020 census, Mishawaka grew by over 6%. As I said, in a world where people choose to live anywhere they want and usually pick the place they want to live even before picking a job career, it used to be that most cities were focused on jobs, jobs, jobs. Attracting jobs and people will follow. Now it's completely the opposite. Now it's attract people and the jobs will follow. Mishawaka has and will focus on attracting people to the Princess City. The City of Mishawaka, under my administration and your collaboration, continues to build a community that future generations are attracted to and can be proud of. I know this through personal experience, that kids who grew up here in Mishawaka, left for college or job experiences, have moved on elsewhere, and could live anywhere, they are giving Mishawaka a second look, and they are loving what they see. One such person is Mishawaka hometown kid Xander Horvath. I've known him since he was born. He grew up here, went all the way through school in the west end of Mishawaka, and was a high school football standout here in the Princess City. He left to get his degree and play football for Purdue, where he received his degree and had a successful career out on the gridiron. He then entered the NFL draft last year and was selected by the LA Chargers. He made the team as their only fullback. In his first game, he scored a touchdown. In the next game, he scored another, and went on to have a productive rookie season, seeing playing time in most games in critical situations. After the Chargers' disappointing loss in the playoffs, he came back home to Mishawaka to spend his offseason. This kid could live anywhere in the country, and he chooses to live in Mishawaka, specifically downtown Mishawaka. I just saw him last week, enjoying time with friends downtown. He will soon be headed back to LA, and we expect great things from him, this humble, talented Mishawaka kid next season. I couldn't be more proud of Xander and love that he will always call Mishawaka his home. It can only feel good to be home if our residents can feel safe and secure in their homes and neighborhoods. In Mishawaka, our citizens' safety and security is of utmost importance and our top priority. There is no service provided by local government more vital than public safety, and here in Mishawaka, it is job number one. The Mishawaka Police Department's proactive hometown community-oriented approach to police work continues to keep Mishawaka a safe place to live. The constant patrols, painstaking detective work, active community involvement, and focused training are fundamental strengths of the department. I continue to be thankful every day and can sleep well every night because of the outstanding work performed by the Mishawaka Police Department. I am pleased to report that crime rate has dropped yet again in 2022. There were 2,431 crimes reported in 2022, 169 less than the year before, meaning that our crime rate dropped by 6.5%. Even calls for service dropped nearly 6% last year, bucking a national trend in the opposite direction, and even as our city is growing. One of the accomplishments that I'm most proud of is the fact that crime has decreased 11 of my 13 years serving as mayor. Why is this the case? We put our, which is to say your, money where our mouths are. Police and fire represents the biggest departments in Mishawaka government in terms of money allocated in our budget and number of employees, by far and away the largest employee groups in the city. But it doesn't stop there. Mishawaka is also dedicated to hiring the best officers it can find, equipping them with the latest equipment, building state-of-the-art facilities, providing them top-level training, and providing competitive pay and benefits. I have mentioned before, and I want to reiterate here, that no incidents of crime or senseless violence will be tolerated in our Mishawaka community. We will do whatever it takes to prevent violence in any form. Furthermore, we will actively pursue, arrest, and bring to justice anyone responsible for any violent acts and crime. And I continue to support our officers without fail as they do their dangerous jobs. I have their backs as they have ours. When we increased our already substantial investment in the MPD, and by extension public safety, we have done this over time. We have had to do this out of necessity, as it is becoming increasingly difficult to find and hire new police officers. Just a year ago, we were fully staffed +1. Now we are well under budget number, largely due to retirements. Given the changing dynamics of the profession, in a partisan environment where police work has become increasingly political, the last 2 years have been challenging. Being a police officer is a hard and dangerous, difficult job. Combine that with our divided society and the focused attention on police. This has contributed to a drop in interest in the profession overall. We are now at a point where where our local area law enforcement agencies are competing for the same small pool of individuals to replenish their depleting workforces, mostly due to retirements. And it's created quite a competition. I have referred to it as an arms race for attracting police officers, and I believe that it has the potential to become a crisis statewide and beyond in the coming years. The success of the Mishawaka Police Department requires that we hire and retain the best officers. Some are lowering their hiring standards. We will not. We have fortunately been able to attract new officers, including 5 lateral hires from other departments last year alone, including 1 from NYPD in New York City. I'd like to thank and acknowledge MPD FOP Lodge Number 91 for their work with the city administration and Common Council for negotiating a 2-year contract that has a very aggressive compensation and benefit package compared to years past, allowing us to keep pace with the surrounding communities. We have also, in addition, we will be adding 6 police officers in the 2023 budget. And we are increasing our capabilities within the department. Just within the last year, we've created, staffed, outfitted, and trained a new major crimes unit in response to the disbanding of the County Metro Homicide Unit. And we hired a new civilian crime lab tech and civilian crime data analyst, both department firsts, and they are doing an outstanding job. We also created a rapid response team to respond to big events of civil unrest, and a special crimes unit, new cold case unit that investigates cold cases and helps our officers with investigations. And you might have seen just yesterday that they solved the 40-year-old cold case murder that was big news, I remember, when I was a kid. This year, we began a new program and have already begun to hire retired officers to assist us with park patrols, facility security, and special events coverage, freeing up our uniformed division officers to stay in their beats and patrol Mishawaka neighborhoods. Similar to the old park patrol when I was a kid here in Mishawaka, their presence has already made a positive impact, and I've had positive comments about it. We have employed new technologies such as license plate readers or flock cameras that kind of act as additional officers. These proactive tools alert our officers real time when stolen vehicles are involved in serious crime and enter our city. We use these very creatively, and I aim to increase the number of our flock security cameras over time. We are purchasing a new high-tech duty pistols with advanced sights. Ordered a new mobile homicide response unit that just came in, and a new rig to pull it. We are exploring new virtual reality training simulators that can help train our officers in dealing with all kinds of realistic situations, and we'll renovate the Douglas Road Training Building in the coming months to house our VR facility. In short, we are better equipped, better trained, have more experienced officers and leadership, and are better prepared now than at any point in our department's history. A big part of why Mishawaka continues to feel like home is the community policing performed by the Mishawaka Police Department. Preventing and investigating serious crimes that makes the news is done by every department around the country. Putting in the extra effort for smaller neighborhood issues is what makes that hometown difference in Mishawaka. To illustrate this point, I want to acknowledge and commend our officers of the fourth quarter 2022. Sergeant Ryan Hippica, Sergeant Sam Nan, Officers Mike Norby, and Garrett Barisel. On October 25th, 2022, officers were dispatched to the Reverewood subdivision regarding reports of suspicious individuals in the area. These officers discovered several vehicles and garages where unlawfully entry had been gained by suspects. After watching a victim's surveillance video, officers were able to get a good description of the suspect. These officers spent over 2 hours on foot searching the neighborhood for the suspect. While searching the area, officers discovered an individual sitting in a truck, passed out, that met that description. All officers awakened him. After they awakened him and talked to him, it was determined the individual was the suspect and was in possession of a stolen firearm and items from the vehicles. It was later discovered the suspects were wanted in connection to a pursuit, a vehicle larceny in Goshen, and was a suspect involved in a vehicle theft earlier in the year. With this outstanding, proactive police work, these officers were responsible for solving a neighborhood crime that also closed several MPD and outside agency cases from thefts, fraud, and stolen handgun. These men are here with us tonight. I want to personally thank you, brave men, for your exemplary service. Feeling good to be home includes having the trust and confidence in your local police department and having a department that is worthy of that trust. You all demonstrate with your proactive police work and never give up attitude that our department is worthy of that trust. Mishawaka is better and safer because you always answer the call and give it your best, no matter what that is. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. The Mishawaka Fire Department reached a new yearly milestone in 2022 by responding to 10,000 calls for the first time in history. There were 10,686 to be exact, and 11% increase. That included 21,660 total apparatus responses. This means the department received an average of 1.2 calls for service every hour. The greatest numbers of calls for service continue to be emergency medical services. Our ambulances and fire trucks responded to 8,098 of them, and that is a 10% increase. And in fact, we wore out Engine 4 completely just a couple of weeks ago. The subframe broke and we had to order a brand new engine, completely unexpected, to the tune of about $750,000 that we had to find and get in the assembly line rotation to get it hopefully in the next few months. But in case you're interested, of those 10,000 calls, 178 involved a fire. To address the ever-increasing run volume, especially in medical-related runs, we will be hiring 6 additional firefighters in 2023, making it possible to deploy for the first time a full-time ambulance into perpetual service. And I'd like to thank personally the Mishawaka Fire Department International Association of Firefighters Local Number 360 for their cooperation in making this happen. The city is committed to providing the very best in facilities, as I mentioned before. Equipping and supporting our MFB is a big priority. To that end, we will finally be breaking ground this summer on a new fire station number 2 with a new state-of-the-art station to replace the existing Station 2 located on Main Street just north of McKinley. We worked with School City of Mishawaka to acquire the vacant property located south of Liberty School for the new station. As part of the stimulus bond, the city reserved $7.6 million to proceed with the project. The total estimated project cost now, $15 million. Because of these escalating costs, mostly in just the economy, what's going on in the economy, half of the funds for this project will have to come from the stimulus bond proceeds. The other half will have to come from our consolidated tax incremental finance district. With cost escalations, the city opted to use the construction manager as constructor process, similar to the process used in City Hall, which saved us millions here. This change helped manage the design and value engineer the project as it moves forward. The building will be 25,000 square foot with 5 apparatus bays. Will be our biggest station to be sure, and it will include a Survive Alive house for educating elementary school kids and a community room. It will also solve some access and traffic issues for Liberty School and the surrounding neighborhoods. Plus, I love the idea of a fire station next to a school for obvious reasons. It's good to be home in a city that keeps its fiscal house in order. How a city manages its finances is a significant difference between cities that are thriving and those that are struggling. To thrive as a city requires that we have adequate funding and tax money is managed wisely. In 2022, Mishawaka passed another balanced budget for 23 that provides investment in public safety, streets, parks, while including well-deserved cost of living increases for our employees. I would also note that predominantly due to higher than normal employee raises in public safety and inflation, the 2023 budget is even tighter than last year's. To remain balanced, it relies on anticipated growth and assessed valuation. If that increase to assessed valuation does not happen, we will be forced to make cuts in service and or increase in fees or tax revenue to remain balanced in future years. Perhaps help is on the way. I just received my tax bill and it went up 27% for my personal property tax. The general fund's cash balance stayed steady at 14 plus million, and for the second straight year, this reserve that we have built to offset the circuit breaker is now working to potentially offset the increased costs that can be easily or cannot be easily projected in the future. As I have said repeatedly, budgets are about making choices and setting priorities. Mishawaka's success continues to be based on being fiscally conservative and not incurring long-term legacy costs that could jeopardize our stability in times of uncertainty. By looking ahead, we stay proactive instead of reactive in analyzing how best to keep Mishawaka financially sound for years to come. Our strong financial management is in large part due to our ongoing efforts of our controller, Rebecca McGuire, and her staff. This is another team effort that starts with all of our elected officials and must continue as we face new obstacles every year. When I think of a theme, feels good to be home, few services can exemplify that more than what Mishawaka Utilities provides our residents and businesses on a daily basis. I think you can judge a community's success by what residents can take totally for granted. In Mishawaka, our residents can totally take for granted that when they turn on the faucet, they will have clean, safe, potable drinking water on demand without even giving it a passing thought. When they flush their toilet, They don't even have to worry about where the waste goes, is it being treated properly while also protecting our environment. And when residents flip on that light switch, the lights always come on, and they stay on more than any surrounding area. And it ain't even close. In fact, there were only 13 unplanned, partial, scattered outages last year with a cumulative total of only 17 and a half hours. When you hear about in the news the storms and the issues that leave people without power for days on end, it is a remarkable accomplishment that the total amount of all outages across our city in 1 year doesn't even total 1 day. Utilities are services that you don't think about much until there are problems. Because of the hard work and the dedication of our employees at Mishawaka Utilities and the outstanding reliability of our utility is just another feature that makes our hometown great. For almost 2 years, construction has been happening on our new water treatment plant and well field at Judick Creek. The plant, major new well field, and our new water tower at Gumwood Road will come online sometime late in 2023. When finished, the final investment cost of the project will exceed $40 million. The new 8.2 million gallon per day treatment plant will allow for unlimited fresh, clean, potable drinking water, securing Mishawaka's long-term needs of this ever important resource and provide important redundancy in our system, thereby giving Mishawaka a strategic advantage in growth into the future. It's important to have some of us old codgers around to look back and remember the way things used to be. And Mishawaka devotes a lot of effort to protecting and promoting its traditions and history. It's equally important to engage young people in local government to imagine what could be going forward. To me, one of my principal duties starts with involving and preparing our future generations for citizenship and leadership. This includes educating our youth about our city government and showing them the value of their hometown. Thus, my Mayor's Youth Advisory Council is among my most important initiatives, and it is a best practice in local government anywhere. In my 12 years in office, we've had over 175 youth participants. This year, I have 23 members from the Mishawaka High School, Marion, Penn, and South Bend St. Joseph, all Mishawaka residents. This is particularly dynamic group and talented group of kids, and they are making a big impact on their hometown. Many of them are here tonight. If you could please stand. These are our future leaders, and our future is in great hands. There are a lot of activities competing for their time. For these kids to make their hometown's future a priority says all you need to know about them. They have my endearing, eternal gratitude, and I love them as if they were my own. It's become a tradition of mine that every year I give my youth council a big project to complete to improve Mishawaka's future for our youth and, more importantly, educate them on how our local government actually works. Heroes Park and designing their very own meeting space here in City Hall are just the most recent accomplishments. This year, they have accepted my challenge to design a small pocket park here on site that will include a selfie sculpture downtown. This is their opportunity to add a bit of cool to our historic downtown, and I love the concept that they have come up with all on their own. But rather than me telling you about that, I'll let them do it.
Has taken on a project. They've decided to design a pocket park on the City Hall corner, Main and First Street in downtown Mishawaka.
Our youth council is made up of 23 students that serve Mishawaka through community service projects. These include, but are not limited to, Heroes Park, aspects of City Hall, and our yearly Thanksgiving food drive. We are also entrusted to notice and rectify problems in and around our community.
We plan to create a mural that encapsulates Mishawaka, past, present, and future.
It would also be a unique opportunity to sponsor one or more local artists. We have also incorporated seating for everyone to use at their convenience. Interactivity is something we would love to have, which is why we've made sure it is present in our pocket park. In addition to the mural, we plan to make a 3D structure that will spell The Mish, in which anyone is free to take a photo, replacing the I in Mish.
Recently, downtown has experienced an uptick in business activity. We plan to further this re-centralization by adding a pocket park, enhancing the sense of beauty and wonder in the heart of Mishawaka.
At the end of the day, what we're hoping for is to bring the community together and re-centralize downtown. In our beloved city,
They began developing their concept last fall, attended educational workshops, broke into committees, met with department managers, listened to experts in the field on the subject matter, developed marketing materials, met with stakeholders, presented to organizations like the MBA, hosted donor meetings, refined plans with engineers and landscape architects, and presented to a jury. They have had a long couple of months, but I can tell you I could not be more impressed with what they have come up with. That is, these are the plans that they have settled upon. Still working out some of the bugs or some of the details, but this will be at the corner of First and Main Street. This is what it will look like with the selfie station and some landscaping. We will have a river that is a sculpture that will be along the big brick behemoth wall there. And there is the Mish sculpture right in the middle of the pocket park. And tonight, I'm proud to announce that we have hit our goal. Thanks to nearly 200 donors, including some of you, I just made the donation this evening that pushed us over the $50,000 goal before our April 30th deadline. That's important because the state of Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority will match the $50,000 plus that we raised, bringing that over $100,000 to make this project a reality. The kids will soon present their project to the Lieutenant Governor and ICTA, followed by Andrew Berlin, who's flying in on his personal jet just to hear them speak. He is the owner of the Cubs, and that will both of those will happen in May. We will then invite you to a special groundbreaking ceremony this spring prior to construction. I think Mishawaka will love and utilize the vision of these great hometown kids for generations to come. And I especially want to take this opportunity to thank my wife, Jamie, my assistant, Debbie Gregg, our intern, Lizette Ramirez, for stepping up big to help these kids achieve their big goal. Mishawaka is a better hometown because of their passion to mentor our young leaders. I'd also like to thank our department managers, parent volunteers, donors, and those helping our kids achieve their most ambitious fundraising goal in program history. Not only are my youth council making our community better, but alumni from our program are making our country and even our world a better place. We have alums serving in all of our United States military service academies, major colleges, universities, high-achieving athletes. One, Anna Rohr, just finished 22nd in the Boston Marathon. And I'm especially proud that some work right here for the city of Mishawaka. But we are truly blessed to have one former youth council member and Mishawaka High School marching band, marching caveman band member who grew up in the Princess City, loves Mishawaka, and is achieving incredible accomplishments far away from his hometown. Zane Langenbrenner, a deacon and seminarian from the Pontifical Northern American College, is studying to be a priest at the Vatican, where he recently made international news by becoming selected by Pope Francis to chant Exultet for the Easter Vigil Mass at St. Peter's Basilica. Talk about pressure. He did a great job on the world stage, and I could not be more proud of him. He will be ordained a priest soon, and one of his very first stops will be right back here at his beloved hometown, where he will celebrate Mass at our home parish, St. Bavo. Mishawaka is home to nearly 30 parks with endless recreational opportunities for you and your family. From nature trails to playgrounds to concerts, our Parks and Recreation Department is eager to make every park a place you'll want to visit and never want to leave. Kids and adults, welcome. We take pride in our parks, which have a little something for everyone to enjoy. From walking trails to nature for the nature lover to splash pads for kids. We have something for all ages. Our concert series appeals to music lovers. Our expertly designed playgrounds provide safe settings for families to discover. No matter your needs, interests, or abilities, there's a park waiting for you. All you need to do is get outside and explore. We continue to double down on our strategy of promoting quality of life here in the Princess City through strategic investment in our parks. Other communities have caught on to that trend, but we were doing it long before it was cool. And we won't stop investing in our parks and programming because our investments continue to pay off big. Here's just a recent sampling of some of our work. Mishawaka neighborhoods and our parks are central to strong, vibrant community and crucial to the core of a healthy and habitable Mishawaka. Temple Park is a great example of a park that was long in need of revitalization, which has now received major facelift that neighbors are excited about. Hope is on display in our hometown for the revitalized Temple Park that anchors a neighborhood of tidy homes just north of Jefferson Boulevard. While this was one of the smaller park projects, it's vital to the neighborhood that needs this important amenity as a gathering place and a recreational spot. While some of the other parks may get the big public attention because of their size and prominence, neighborhood parks like Temple are key investments for establishing community, and we will be doing many more like this. And if you drive by there, it's always busy. But perhaps the best part of the story is that while we were hosting a neighborhood meeting to discuss the coming improvements, we learned of a blind child that lives next to the park. So plans were made to install a braille wall and other accessible equipment. We thank Grayson and his family for alerting us to the needs of all. And we named the shelter after Grayson for his input in making our park better. And in fact, going forward, Mishawaka Parks Department is going to incorporate features that can be enjoyed by children of all abilities at various parks across the city. And the city's master plan now calls for features like braille walls in all future park developments. The single largest quality of life investment made in our city, the Ironworks Skate Event Cafe project, was completed in '22 and opened to big fanfare. The project substantially completes Buter Park, which is already the city's signature urban park, occupying the former Uniroyal Ball Band brownfield cleanup site. The Ironworks Center has succeeded in turning Buter Park into a year-round attraction, and we have no doubt that the facility is on its way to becoming one of the signature places anywhere in our region. We are excited that the center has already greatly enhanced the vitality and interest of our downtown. Much has been said, celebrated, and publicized about the project, and it has already changed the way we look at our amenities. But it has brought so much more to the downtown. Businesses are opening up around Ironworks and thriving. It's not unheard of to wait 2.5 hours to get into a restaurant downtown. Families are enjoying skating, ice bumper carts, ice bikes, sitting around the fire pit, then going to dinner at a new business and located next to the Ironworks. Teens are taking selfies in front of the Christmas tree or ornament seat. Now, that not only feels like home, but to me it feels like Bedford Falls from It's a Wonderful Life. Our vision is paying off big. We can sit around and complain about the weather, but we can't change it. I believe it's time we embrace it, indeed celebrate it, especially winter. This venue helps us to do just that. In early December, Mishawaka Parks launched the opening of the venue with the city's annual Winterfest. The event featured Christmas light parade, Christmas market, ice carvers, Santa lighting up the Christmas tree, and so much more. It was a celebration of Americana that was attended by thousands and became the single largest winter event ever held in the city of Mishawaka. That got us to thinking, we can do more. And this next holiday season, not only will Winterfest be back, but you can expect an exciting new event, Mishawaka New Year's Rockin' Eve. Stay tuned for more details. Ironworks Ice Rink was open for an abbreviated 100-day season. We averaged 291 visitors a day and had over 29,000 visitors and brought in nearly $300,000 in revenue. Both far surpassed not just one season, but multiple seasons at the old Merrifield Ice Rink, while adding an important winter vibe downtown that has benefited businesses and the community, making it feel good to be home. Speaking of events, just today we booked Retrofest for Ironworks this coming June 17th. So grow out your mullets, go find your parachute pants and put them on, and come and join us for festivities, food, and live entertainment featuring the 1985, coming soon. But what I love best is that kids are using the facility and find inspiration in it, so much so that it has inspired their talent. This original artwork, entitled Winter Wonderland in Mishawaka, was created by 15-year-old Mishawaka resident Olivia Ray. It feels good to be home when our amenities and even not only inspire community pride, but also beautiful artwork. One of the more frequent questions I get asked is, when is the next section of Riverwalk will be built? The answer is now. The Mishawaka Riverwalk continues to be the cornerstone of many of the city's downtown redevelopment efforts. It has also become our pedestrian superhighway that gets over 250,000 individual visits yearly and connects neighborhoods to the downtown and parks, taking advantage of the city's greatest natural resource, the St. Joseph River. The Mishawaka Riverwalk also adds value to existing homes and neighborhoods and will undoubtedly be a source of community pride for citizens for generations to come. Our next section, connecting the South Bank from the dam to Cedar and Lincoln Way, is now under construction and will be open this summer. It will connect yet another neighborhood into the system, complete the loop all the way through downtown without having to cross traffic, and I think that it will be particularly spectacular, probably the most prettiest views on a Riverwalk yet. It's taken over 5 years of hard work, but with your help and the help of developer Andy Card, our planning and community development office, as well as many sources of funding, include a dedicated innkeeper's tax and $5 million in state ready funding, the Mishawaka Fieldhouse is finally going to become reality. The bonds have been sold, and we expect earthwork imminently on the site on Veterans Parkway. It's in just over a year, Mishawaka will be a great new destination for youth sports while supporting our local economy and introducing thousands of new people to our hometown Mishawaka. We think they'll like what they see. And tonight I'm excited to announce that the groundbreaking ceremony will be held this June, and we will invite you all. River Rock, just across the river, showed us that people want to live next to our great new amenities and that they'll pay market rate to do it. Indeed, downtown is proving to be a highly sought after place to live. We are seeing all kinds of new housing opportunities there. As you look out your window here, this is what you will see take shape over the coming year. The Avalon. It is currently under construction, will be built around the elevator shaft that sits there now, and we'll be adding another mixed-use private development to the downtown. In it, we'll add another 100 residential units, as well as shops, restaurants, and office space, and big city amenities. Completion is expected later this year. Success breeds success. Phase 1 of the mill is complete and 100% occupied with waiting list. It's done exactly what we envisioned, bringing people to Mishawaka, especially young people. Several hundred people now call downtown Mishawaka home, right here in the heart of our community in Indiana for the first time. Who would have envisioned that 20 years ago when we were in the midst of cleaning up an industrial wasteland? There were a few naysayers, to be sure, but the mill is so successful that the private developer Flaherty & Collins wants to build another one. So why is this project so important? The ability to attract and maintain quality talent within our state is invaluable in advancing the economic climate of our communities. Quality of life is one of the main factors young professionals consider when choosing where to start their careers. In thriving regions across the country, such as the Raleigh-Durham Chapel Hill, North Carolina region where my daughter lives and I often visit, projects like these are common. Many communities, including right here in Indiana, are clamoring for them, but simply can't pull them off. Quite simply, if we want to compete for talent, population, and economic growth in this arena, then we better have these options. The proposal includes a 215-unit mixed-use luxury apartment complex along with 2 end-cap commercial spaces for signature restaurants and the like, and an internal parking garage with free parking to the public. Because of the significant expense associated with building the parking garage and providing higher density development, even with the $5 million provided to them from the state of Indiana, the project will still need significant assistance from the city to become a reality, just like phase 1. The project will take multiple years to construct and an estimated total cost of about $63 million. This will require a different strategy with TIF, much like we used for the Mishawaka Fieldhouse. The Mishawaka Redevelopment Commission has approved the development agreement, and we will look to bring this to the council soon as the next step in the approval process. Construction could begin by this fall. It's good to be home in a community that cares about vital infrastructure and improves neighborhoods. Jefferson Boulevard has been one of those streets ever since I was a kid growing up in that area that just didn't know what it wanted to be. 2 lanes, 3 lanes, 4 lanes drag strip. It was built to different standards over time, over many decades. And in 2022, we were able to provide some much needed clarity and enhanced livability for those who live between Burkett and Cedar with the help of the state community crossing funds. The section can now be driven on, walked on, and biked much more safely as a result of these improvements. We received nearly $1 million from the state again this year, and you will see major improvements to sections of Fur Road, Day Road, Park Place, Fulmer Road, Merrifield Avenue, Main Street, and Savannah Pass corridors starting soon. Building and rebuilding infrastructure is required to sustainably grow at a steady pace, adapt to changes in society, and also needed just to maintain services and improve our quality of life. Last year, we made significant progress on one of our long-term goals of improving traffic and pedestrian movement and safety downtown Mishawaka through the Princess City Corridor Parkway. A signal was added and several removed. Crosswalks and roads were widened. Decorative pavement was installed, essential to both move traffic and create a pedestrian safe environment for downtown. This project is still underway with work continuing in 2023. It sets us up well for the long term relative to our continued redevelopment efforts downtown. Sometimes, though, it's the smallest projects that can have the biggest impact on people's lives. Any city that feels like home provides an opportunity for community engagement and input, and it listens. One neighbor can in fact make a difference. In 2021, working through our engineering department, the Traffic Commission received a petition requesting that an intersection of Mishawaka Avenue and Burkett be converted into an all-way stop. This was suggested specifically for the safety of pedestrians using the intersection. As we all know, this is an odd 3-way intersection where the majority of the traffic is turning to go through the intersection. It also is one of our busiest intersections of Mishawaka Avenue, and where multiple accidents have occurred over the past decades despite reevaluating and improving on multiple occasions. And we've certainly replaced a lot of guardrail there. The city hired professional consultants and traffic counts were conducted. These results were presented to the Traffic Commission along with the neighbor who petitioned the changes. Their recommendations include a 3-phased approach to improve it, and will begin this year. And the project, I think, we're going to add some delineators, which we call wigwags, to replace, to add some clarity to the traffic movements there, and then replace those eventually by hard surface in the streets and curbs. When neighbors in the city work together to make Mishawaka a safer place, we think great things happen. My sewer separation and neighborhood revitalization plan, affectionately referred to as the Wood Long-Term Control Plan, returns with a big project in the West End this year. Thanks to your gracious approval of my request to use ARPA funds for sewer infrastructure, we can do this project without having to bond or raise rates for our residents. The project will fix the sins of the past, like lead water service and mismatched pipe sizes, benefit our long-term control plan and increase capacity down at the wastewater plant, prevent basements from flooding in the West End, and many above-ground improvements as well. Look for work on West Street from 7th to 8th, including the 8th Street intersection, 7th Street from Wells to Spring, Wells Street from 6th to 7th, and Spring from 6th to 7th. This will be a painful project, I can assure you, but we will make sure to work around school schedules, and we will certainly hold our residents and our businesses' hands during construction. We have a lot of progress to be proud of over the last year. That being said, we have never been a community that stops looking forward. As illustrated by many of the projects listed in this year's report, it takes many years of planning and prioritization of funds to make these projects happen. We know that neighborhood parks greatly contribute to the quality of life here. One of the factors people use to decide whether to live often includes proximity to their neighborhood park. Well, I'm pleased to report that our next neighborhood park to undergo transformational improvements will be Rose Park. This project is personal for me. This was my mom's family's neighborhood park and serves those living in the West End. Improving Rose Park, in fact, was my first and only campaign promise that I naively made about 24 years ago running for council. After I got elected to the council, I quickly realized just how complicated and slow government can be. I learned just how much power I didn't have, and I haven't made a campaign promise since. Well, now we are really able to keep that promise. This year, Rose Park will get significant improvement. In March, the city held a well-attended public meeting after sending out a lot of invitations. All our parks are unique, and Rose will be different than any other park in our system. The concept includes renewing our historic activities associated with the park and neighborhood, such as Belgian bowling, bocce ball, wiffle ball, and that really reflect the uniqueness of the park. Other common amenities like playground structures, splash pad, pickleball, open turf fields, and a dog run will also be included in the plan. The neighborhood liked the concept. We are reviewing their comments now and will amend our plans accordingly. After all, it's their park. Construction will begin this year. And as part of the stimulus bond back in 2020, the city allocated just over $2 million for the construction of Veterans Walk, expanding west from the Civil War Monument into Veterans Plaza to the edge of the Riverwalk east of the Rock Garden. Along the walk will be a display and identify Mishawaka's involvement in each major armed conflict that the United States and Mishawaka has participated in. The walk will include benches and is meant to be more of a contemplative space right along our parade route. The walk will terminate at the Rock Garden at a newly constructed memorial that lists the names of every known Mishawaka service member that was killed as part of these conflicts. Our mission is to continue to honor and recognize the veterans of our city who have given so much to ensure their freedom. The construction fences are up and work will be beginning soon. I think you can tell a lot about a great hometown by who it honors and recognizes. It's not only important to build memorials to honor our veterans for their tremendous sacrifice in defense of our freedoms, but we also want to support those who continue to need our vital services as a result of their service to our nation. Therefore, we are working with Trooptown, Mishawaka to sell bricks for the plaza that can be purchased by loved ones and engraved with the names of Mishawaka veterans. All proceeds from the sales will go to support our friends at Mishawaka Trooptown and the important work that they are doing to provide critical services and housing for our veterans. Information on the program is available on our website at mishawaka.in.gov. The former City Hall and Bingham School is about to get some great new life. We felt from the beginning when we were planning to relocate that the reuse of this building was going to be challenging. The property is located in the middle of a predominantly single-family neighborhood on the outskirts of the downtown. We were unwilling to sell the building on the open market, fearing what could happen there. And we think that the pressure would have been to convert it into apartments. United Way and the Boys and Girls Club reached out to us about the potential reuse of the former school for their one roof concept. There, multiple support agencies such as Boys and Girls Club, Head Start, Health and Wellness Services, and other neighborhood directed services use the same space along with public meeting space. Essentially, the plan will convert the building into a community center with added gymnasium and playground to service the neighborhood as well. We conducted again a neighborhood meeting on the proposal over the winter, and it was well attended and supported very much. The next step in the process is we will execute a development agreement through the Redevelopment Commission, which we expect to happen this spring. The city also was contacted by the Women's Care Center about the availability of property for a new facility. We thought this same block would be great for them. They've had a long presence in Mishawaka providing prenatal and pregnancy services and have outgrown their current facility across from the 100 Center on Lincoln Way. We propose that they look at the vacant site at the southeast corner of Lincoln Way and Cedar Street, and they loved it and all the improvements going on there. One of the conditions that the city had is that we wanted to maintain and keep the parking lot for public parking, which they agreed. The city is also partnering with the Mishawaka Buildings Trades to construct a new single-family home, 2-story, on the vacant lot just to the west or east of that, over on the corner of Laurel and Lincoln Way. We are working through the property transfer process right now, and we are couldn't be more excited to see the transformation of all of these projects on that block over the next coming years. Feels like home means that the information and services provided by local government are accessible, even available 24/7, 365 from the comfort of your own home. Mishawaka has not only made some big changes that you have seen as you travel around our town, we have also been working on a major project that hasn't been seen unless you've been online recently. On January 31st, 2023, the City of Mishawaka launched our completely redesigned and reimagined website at mishawaka.in.gov. We have a new look, new content, new functionality, new responsiveness, a new content management system, and new information architecture. It is truly a new resource that brings our vital government services even closer to our citizens in a new and intuitive and very personal way. It truly is our window to the world, and I would invite you to go online and tour its functionality. I think you'll be impressed. It is ever-changing and will constantly be updated, even including a breaking news banner with important information specific to our citizens. Today's was the state of the city. It took a lot of hard work from a lot of different people to bring this to fruition, and we want to thank everyone that helped contribute in making this revitalization possible. There you have it. Although my summary highlighted some of our accomplishments and what your local government is doing, I would encourage everyone interested to read the full report provided by our city departments for more complete perspective. Invariably, I left something out, but they will be there in the written and online report. Our City of Mishawaka departments reports are available online on our city website at our new, and you should be able to find them easily. Yearly, I'm pleasantly surprised at what our departments and staff are able to accomplish. I personally want to thank each and every city employee and public official for your continued service, support, and friendship over the past year. It's been needed, and I can't tell you how much my family and I appreciate it. I consider it a privilege to work shoulder to shoulder with the finest public servants anywhere to be found. As mayor, I'm proud to continue to call Mishawaka my hometown, and it sure feels good to be home. As I have said on many occasions, and here again tonight, I believe that one of the reasons that Mishawaka stands apart from most other communities, or other levels of government for that matter, is the quality of our elected officials. Mishawaka elected officials have historically, with few exceptions, placed the best interest of the city above their own interests or party politics. I think this cooperation is a direct reflection of the community we represent and the wisdom of the voters who put us in office. Part of that hometown feeling that exists in Mishawaka comes from having elected leaders who are both engaged and accessible. In that regard, I would like to thank the Common Council and Clerk Block for your continued dedication and public service to our city. I continue to believe that we should be very optimistic about our future. Mishawaka's best days are indeed ahead. Personally, I want to thank all of Mishawaka for providing me with this opportunity to continue to serve. I am humbled by the trust that has been placed in me, the support, the well wishes, and the prayers, and especially lately, I receive on a daily basis. For that, you have my heartfelt thanks. I'm running out of ways to say it, but never doubt that I truly mean it. My service as mayor continues to be the high honor of my lifetime. I love Mishawaka and love its citizens as part of my extended family. Together, we will continue to work to make Mishawaka decisions today with the eye towards tomorrow. I'm confident that ever more people will discover that it feels good to be home in Mishawaka. Thank you. May the princess, the refreshed princess, always look over your shoulder, and may God continue to bless you, our citizens, our staff, and our beloved city of Mishawaka.
Let's give Mel some extra stuff here.
Yeah, 75.
Who got the big bucks?
Tony. Tony.
Oh,
75.
inside. He had it